What are the 4 most important things when building a team in Dokkan Battle? Well, to answer that question, let me explain the basics of Dokkan for new players. If you're already familiar, skip ahead to the timestamp on screen. Now, for those who stayed, Dokkan Battle can be a very overwhelming game to jump into, but the game is quite simple once you realize what you are working towards. Basically, your goal is to build a roster of interchangeable characters who work together and can take down the hardest bosses. The easiest way to do this is looking at link skills and categories. Most 200 and 170% leads work around categories, and you want characters that fit on those categories. The problem about this is that often it is hard to tell who's actually good and why. We are in an era of Dokkan where a lot of cards are still good, even after a year or years have passed since their release. Therefore, team building has become a daunting task for many new players or returning players who only had to worry about a color wheel and super types or extreme types. In this video, I will be giving you the 4 most important tips on how to build endgame teams even without being a whale or paying to win. But before I do that, I want to thank you guys for the overwhelming amount of support on my last video and for subscribing to my channel. Thank you guys so much. It's literally like, it's made my day. It's made me want to continue uploading way more. Like, thank you so much for watching the last video, commenting your thoughts, and some of you even went to my older videos and watched those and dropped comments. Thank you so much. All right, now back to the video. The first tip I have for you guys is don't be too ambitious. Work with what you've got. You have to really take a look at what you own. Not everyone has the best luck, but most of the time you should at least have a card to start from, and that is usually a card you pulled from the banner that caused you to download the game in the first place. Dokkan Fests, anniversary banners, or any other celebration usually feature cards that have great leader skills. Most of the time, these bigger celebrations, even the other units on the banner have good leads. Now, the minimum leader skill you should be settling for is 170% to 1 or 2 categories. By the way, I will be using only awakened examples in this video, so make sure you've got all your medals and don't be lazy. Now, I think a good example to use is the 7th anniversary LR Gods. They've appeared on quite a few popular banners since release, making them perfect to work with here for the sake of the video. Now, you'll see they are leading Power Beyond Super Saiyan and Movie Heroes, which is 2 really strong categories, but they give an extra 30% to Kamehameha category. The good thing is this isn't mandatory, it's just a bonus. Anyways, you are going to go to your box and select the categories in the filter search on Dokkan and hit partial match. Now it'll show you all the cards on those 2 categories. These are all the cards you own who fit on this team. Now, this is the part that gets somewhat complicated. Unfortunately, some cards gain categories after awakening, so you can go to Dokkan Wiki and search for their categories there as well. So, we have your leader and we have the cards who fit on their team. We can move on to the second tip. Tip number 2. What makes a good card, or what makes a card worth running? Well, in the current age of Dokkan, defense is the most important aspect of the game. These endgame bosses hit harder than Prime Mike Tyson, so you better have either the ability to evade these attacks, prevent these attacks, or eat these attacks by putting up a brick wall surrounded by a steel wall surrounded by a wall made out of uranium. Essentially, we are looking for characters who provide value to the team besides doing a lot of damage. I think a good example is STR Movie Heroes Piccolo. He is not a rare card, so most people should have him, but he goes on quite a few teams, and he provides phenomenal defense. He also links well with a card like Orange Piccolo, who is one of the best cards in the game. Anyways, the reason he has such a good kit and has such good defense and is a good pick for this team is his passive skill, which is Ki +1, attack and defense plus 200%. He guards all attacks, plus an additional attack and defense plus 50%, and a medium chance of performing a critical hit for 3 turns after receiving an attack, plus an additional damage reduction of 15% per Movie Heroes category ally, attacking in the same turn, which is 30% damage reduction. Then, he also supports superclass allies by giving Ki +2 and defense plus 30%, plus an additional attack plus 30%, for superclass allies when there is an extreme class enemy, plus an additional attack and defense plus 50% when facing only one enemy. That's usually the part that's important, but he also gains an additional 100 defense if he's facing 2 or more enemies, but that's not really important. Anyways, a passive skill like this is so good for endgame. He basically tanks all attacks while buffing the others on rotation so that they can defend better as well. So, unfortunately, if you want a good team, you're going to have to do some reading. But that's not the only way to make characters buff each other. Link skills are another great way to power up your team, and they actually lead me to my next tip, and that is trying to build a team with a cohesive link set. Link skills are quite a complicated thing to manage. Most of the time, similar looking characters will share link sets, but that isn't a reliable way to build a team with good links. So, I found a website that you can use to build your team, and it will show you if certain characters have better link partners than the ones you have chosen. All you have to type in is dokkan.team, and it'll take you there. So for example, I built a team here on the website using some of the cards I've mentioned previously. When you hit the center team button, it'll show you how well the characters you pick linked up and what they will be gaining from those links. It also provides a list of other link partners, but be careful. Those link partners might not all fit on the teams you are building, so if you swap someone out, make sure they still are on your leader skill. Also, the cards I have on this team, some of them have better leader skills than the current one, but this is just an example on how to build a team with what we picked so far. Anyways, this team once fully link leveled and maxed out should be usable in quite a few endgame red zones. And for my final tip, that is to not waste your stones on a hype unit just because it's hype. Before you summon for something, you really need to think if this card is worth it. Is it going to push your team to the next level, or is it going to help you build a new team that's even better? In the end, you're spending your own hard-earned stones to summon, so choose wisely. And a little research can go a long way. As a free-to-play account, you don't want to waste a lot of stones on a useless banner. Oh, and you don't really want to spend stones unless a banner has lots of amazing cards on it. You should usually try to save for big celebrations, since most Dokkan Fest cards from the year return on those banners, and you can pick up what you want with coins, or even by accident when summoning for something else. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if this video helped, and make sure to subscribe for more guides and informative content on Dokkan.